Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Lee Van Dam here, and we've got some more news about the Halloween event along with the units that are going to be a part of it. So let's talk about it. Let's get to it. We've got a lot to cover, so we're going to knock it out. First things first, we're going to get the trial for Final Fantasy 15. The Wicked Beast Cerberus is coming to us Friday, and so we got to put him down. Got to put him down. So, few things they give us tips on. Be prepared to withstand fire attacks. Confusion may be a problem, and Beast Killer is effective. So we know that Minfilia is going to be good for this because she can give you 100% resist to confusion and 70% resist to fire damage. So we probably will see her in a lot of parties. There are quite a few units that can give you immunity to confusion, and like Zargabath, and there's quite a few units on the banner that are going to help us too. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but this is going to be next week, so it's going to be Friday to Friday. So hopefully we can get it knocked out tomorrow and get the video up, so that way we don't have to worry about it. So for the rewards, completing the quest gets us a 5% Trust Moogle. That's always nice. We use a limit burst, 10,000 hairpins. No items are green magic. This does mean you can use skills, you just can't use magic. Lightning resistance plus 15%. And then a party of 5 or less, you get Ulrich's Kukri. It's a nice dagger, 84 attack, 20 spirit, all element resist 10%, and 20% boost to magic points. That is very nice, very nice. I want to get my hands on that, and so good luck to you. Hopefully I'll have video up to help walk through it tomorrow. Now we're going back to Halloween Castle. So I'm sure Rain's really excited. Not really. He's not. But we've got some new faces with us this time. So the Pumpkin Reaper, he's the one that brought us a lot of joy and a lot of toys last year. If you want to see that fight, I'll have it linked down for you in the description, so that way you can check it out, because it was a good fight, really interesting mechanics, and so can't wait to see what tricks are up his sleeve this year. Now the castle, it's locked up tight. We've got a lot of things to explore, and the Pumpkin Reaper is bringing a new friend with the Skeleton King. So I'm sure that is not good news for us, but we will. So let's find out more about him. The event is going to run for 2 weeks. It's going to run for Friday to Saturday, November the 4th, and then the claim period after that will be 4 days posted. So 4 days, Wednesday the 8th is when we'll be able to claim all the stuff. So it looks like this time around we're going to go through dungeons for keys so we can access different parts of the castle. So that's definitely different than last year. And the castle keep, when you go here, you're going to unlock the dungeon for treats. So I see a lot of Chris, a lot of awakening mats. We've got a lot of different things. Get some money. That's cool. That's really, really nice. And the inner chamber, this is where tricked, apparently. So if we dare to step inside, we get a lot of bosses to fight. Nice rewards. Looks like on day 2, we're going to get the skeleton right. And so we'll get the skeleton right on day 2. For beating him up, you get the cursed mouthpiece. It's a hat, 10% magic, 25 defense, and it's got destruction on it. Not bad. I don't know what destruction does, but that's not a bad hat. And so that looks like that'll be worth the price of admission. Complete the quest, you get a 1% Trust Moogle. You get the kitchen knife again. I've already got one, so it'll be cool to have another one, and you have to deal light damage to an enemy to do so. It deals damage, 25% defense. I'll have to double check that. But it was a nice knife. Funny thing is that Lena was the person who ran around with the kitchen knife. So that was pretty fun. If you got Fiend in your party, you get a candy basket. Candy basket was really, really nice for me before I was able to farm up some earrings. So 15% magic, 15% spirit, enables treat, which can heal an ally. So that can be definitely good on DPS caster because it gives you another outlet for healing. And if you clear without anybody being knocked out, you get a 15% attack materia. So pretty nice rewards for day 2. Now, day 4, which is going to be Tuesday, the Pumpkin Reaper comes back. Now, the fight was really interesting last year, and he had a mechanic where he put everybody on a timer or you would die. So you had to work to skirt around that. And then back then, re-raise wasn't available, so you really were just running a straight DPS check to get everything done before you died. So I'm interested to see how that has changed, or if it has changed. And if you want to see my fight from last year, it'll be in the description, but I did clear it. It was cool. Very nice DPS check. This year, for the initial completion, we get Cloak of the Ghoul, which is 8 attack, 35 defense, 10% dark resistance. So that's pretty good for some clothes. Get 100 lapis for completing the quest. If Laswell is in your party, you get 2 rare summon tickets. That's nice. You beat the Pumpkin Reaper with a limit burst, and you're going to get Creepy Mask, which is one of the best caster hats you can get a hold of. 15 magic points, 15 defense, 30 magic. Enables Boo, which is an AoE damage, and it also paralyzes all enemies. Has a chance to do it. I think the chance is 35%. And so it's not bad at all. Always had a lot of fun with it. If you clear it within 10 turns, you get Reaper's Shaft. That is new because I have anything for clearing it within 10 turns. It's a bow, 90 attack, 40 magic, undead killer. I mean, that's not bad. Not bad. That's good attack, especially if you're coming up in the game. It's really, really nice. Day 6. Looks like this is going to be the Skeleton King. And so for initial completion reward, we get the Necro Dagger. 78 attack, 30 magic. It is dark and fire. That's really, really good for Grim Lord Sakura because she uses dark and fire elements. And she uses them at the same time. She even gets buffs and stuff based on that. And we're going to talk about that in just a bit. Zombie Flame, it deals fire and dark damage to enemies. Adds a chance to inflict disease. Now, this dual elemental thing. It's got some pros and it's got some cons. One of the pros is if you're wielding more than one element, then it's harder for anybody to fully resist your attack because they would have to have resistance versus all the elements you're attacking with in order to avoid the damage from it. So that's a plus. The con is that it's really, you don't get as much of a damage increase when you lower resistance on one element when you're dealing with multiple elements at a time. So, you know, it's got some pros, got some cons. When you complete the quest along with the Necro Dagger, you get a 5% Trust Moogle, no white magic, which means you can still use skills. Get 3 rare summon tickets, party of 5 or less, Collar of the Blessed, 18 attack, 18 defense, 18 spirit, strength and faith. It boosts defense and spirit for 4 turns, so that seems like a pretty neat skill. I wonder if it's AoE, just not as great, but it could still definitely help you out. And you evoke Titan and Lakshmi, you get 30% magic increase. It's a nice materia to have. I could definitely use another one, so I will be working to knock this out. This is going to be in the Vortex, so you're going to know where to go in order to get things done. So good luck to you, and we'll be putting in some work so that way we can kind of walk through it and see what's going on. Now, let's talk about these units because there is a lot of stuff up on Brave Exvius now, and Brave Exvius Wiki, wonderful site. I'll have a link for the stuff that I'm pulling from in the description as well. And so let's talk about what these units are doing, what the strategy is going to be, and all that good stuff. We're going to start with Grim Lord Sakura. So we talked about her yesterday. Job as a Grim Lord. She is a caster. Her Trust Master is silly. I love it. Reaver. 33 attack, 100 magic, 36 spirit, 666 hit points, 66 magic points. It has fire and dark elemental attached to it. It is two-handed. Enables Death Awaits, which is Grim Lord Sakura only. And it helps fill the LB gauge every turn. So, just to shed a little bit more light on the Trust Master itself. Let's see. Now, the notes on the Trust Master are that death awaits. Let's see what that does. Okay, so death await is actually the ability where it increases the limit break gauge by three crystals every turn. So that's what death await does. If Sakura has a hold of it, if everybody else gets a hold of it, they just get a ton of hit points. Wow, just a lot of hit points. That is really, really great. It has damage range of 100 to 160% because it's two-handed, so it has an increased damage variance. 50% accuracy increase, so that is a really, really nice spear. Very nice spear. All right, so let's go over her skills, talk about all this stuff that she's going to bring to the table. So, Grim Soul Barrage. We saw it yesterday. So what it does is it has a 2x multiplier with ignore 50% spirit to all enemies. So that is pretty good. That is a pretty good AoE. Eldritch Flames, they talked about this. She gets this at level 70 of 6-star. So this is later in her leveling. It's fire and dark magic damage. She's got a 3x multiplier, and it decreases fire and dark resistance by 50% for 3 turns to 1 enemy. So one thing this is really cool about this is not only does this help her, but it really helps you not have to have as many on your team, because you could carry somebody like Veritas of the Flame. You could have him fire resistance, and then you could have, you know, Dark Veritas. She gets you resistance for dark, and they can go ham from the beginning because she can debuff the resistance. They can just go wild, which that saves you a turn, so that's really awesome. Grimlord used Grim skills twice in 1 turn, and so Eldritch Flames, Soul Barrage, and then she also controls Lightning, Light, Dark, and Fire for single target damage, and the multiplier on all of these is 1.7, and they deal different status effects. So Lightning is 100% paralyzed, Light is 100% blind, Dark is 100% disease, and Confused is 100%. Fire is 100% confused. She does get dual black magic right away. Some other interesting things that she's got: Undying Fervor. It's a skill. It increases the resistance to stat breaks by 100% to all allies. It also increases resistance to paralyze and confuse for 100% for 3 turns to all allies. So she's covering a lot of bases with her support, so that's really, really good. She has a re-raise. It's an 80% re-raise. She has Grim Siphon, which is going to kill a party member and give back Sakura 50% of her hit point and magic point, so that's not bad, especially if you already have re-raise on them. These two are not... Grim Siphon is a Grim skill, so you can dual cast it with something else. Rise Again is not a Grim skill, so you can't re-raise and then kill them in the same turn. Thunder's Protection is going to increase Lightning, Light, and Dark resistance by 50% to all allies for 3 turns. So she's got some really good support. And then she's also got Sacrificial Barrier, which is a play on what she has as regular Sakura. It's a defense spirit buff of 100% for 3 turns to all allies. And it increases fire resistance by 50% as well. But it lowers her hit points down to 1. So you just got to make sure to heal her out after you use that. Her traits are really interesting, and they kind of play into why the Reaver is going to be really good for her. She gets Dark Spirit, where she's going to increase her own resistance for poison, sleep, and disease. Between her traits, she's going to become immune to silence, confuse, poison, sleep, and disease. When she's only holding 1 weapon, she gets a hit point increase of 50% based on her equipment. And then she also gets a magic and spirit increase of 100% based on her equipment. These are based off of the equipment she has on and not her stats. So really keep that in mind. So these are it's like double hand. But now you can see where Reaver comes into play, because that's going to give her 333 hit points just off of that alone. And now you see where she's going to get an extra 100 magic just off of Reaver alone. So her TMR, her Trustmaster is really, really good. Vicious is a trait she gets where she's equipped with a fire weapon. She gets 30% boost to magic. Equipped with a dark weapon, she gets a 30% boost to hit points. So again, Reaver fills that role and gives her extra hit points and extra magic just from the TMR. So the TMR, her Trustmaster is really built for her. She also gets increased magic damage against humans, demons, and undead, all at 50%, along with another magic increase in her kit of 30%. The only actual magic spell she has is the Thunder series, just like she normally has. And so she does have access to Thundaja, so she can deal a lot of damage through just that alone. And her Limit Burst is really strong. So it starts out at 3.2 times multiplier for magic damage to all enemies, and it increases her magic by 100% for the next turn. So it's going to double her magic for the next turn. They're probably going to code it something like Berserk, so that way it stacks on everything. Really interesting. At max 6-star, it is a 6.6 times multiplier to all enemies, and then it increases her magic by 270% for the next turn. That is nasty. That is downright dangerous. The cost is 18 crystals. She gets 3 crystals per turn just from having her weapon, and there are a lot of ways to boost crystals now. So magic damage, it is not element based. I do think that you're going to be able to put together a kit for her to wear this through the ground, if not every round, every other round. And I think you're going to be able to do some really crazy stuff with her. The Limit Break has 9 hits. Since it does not have an element, it looks like it's going to probably chain with everybody else. It'll probably chain with regular physical attacks too. So, in her, I think she's going to be really cool. She is a global exclusive, and so that is neat. Really neat. All right, so next, let's talk about Pirate Jake. Pirate Jake. He is a physical attacker, and he's got a really insane TMR also with that ring. We talked about it yesterday. It increases hit points by 25%, increases LB fill rate, along with gives him burst stones every turn. Jake, what is your Limit Burst doing to make you have to have all this stuff on your ring? And on top of 20 spirit and 20 defense as well. So let's talk about that first. So his Limit Burst is Unleash the Kraken. Is it as amazing as Grimlord Sakura? No, but it is definitely worth looking at. So it starts off with 2.5 times multiplier to all enemies, and it decreases water resistance by 30% for 3 turns to all enemies. When you max it at 6-star, it's a 5.7 multiplier to all enemies, and it decreases water resistance by 74% for 3 turns to all enemies. So, does he take the place of Titus? No, but that's really good. And that is really good for him because it helps him with his kit, since he can deal water damage in his kit. And he can equip guns, swords, great, and spears. 4-star base, 6-star max. We talked about his Limit Burst. We talked about that ring, because that ring nuts. And so let's talk about his skills. So I know we talked about those 3 earlier. We're going to get to them a little bit, within a minute. So he can mug you. He gets the ability to escape battle with Hornswoggle. It's got Shock Laser and Flame Laser, so he can deal fire and lightning damage. They both have pretty okay, they're alright multipliers at 1.8 and 1.7 respectively. Walk the Plank, this is where it gets interesting. Physical damage 1.8 times multiplier to one enemy, decreases attack and defense by 45% for 3 turns. So that's pretty solid. Pretty solid break there. He's got Parlay, which is going to be lightning damage to all enemies 2 times multiplier, and it decreases lightning resistance by 50% for 3 turns to all enemies. So there's not really a reason to use Shock Laser once you get to 6-star, because Parlay is going to do everything so much better. Got Avast Matey. Now this is an active skill, so keep that in mind. It gives him a 100% chance to cover one ally from physical damage with physical and magic mitigation of 50%. So it's a pretty strong cover if you need a cover to happen. Only problem is that you can't really choose the target, so you gotta be careful with that. From what I understand, mechanically speaking, the first unit is the one that has the most priority to cover if everybody's attacked at the same time. You'll have to correct me on that if I'm wrong, but that's what I've come to hear from other sources and read about. Now, Feed the Fishes is 3.5 times physical damage multiplier, and it decreases water resistance to 50% for 3 turns to 1 enemy. So this is going to be a really good precursor to his Limit Burst. Very nice, because it can help the Limit Burst, deal more damage too. So that's pretty cool. Now, his traits. He gets a chance to cover female allies by 20% with ha ha ha, let's dance, which envisions me. I have this picture of Jake just running off, grabbing them, and dancing away as the attack barely misses them. It's pretty cool. He doubles your gil with X marks the spot. He gets increased resistance to poison and disease and petrify between brew tolerance and Yohong with a hit point, spirit, and attack boost. So that's really cool. Planking gives him a chance to ignore fatal damage 30% when his hit points are. So that is not terrible. Not terrible at all. And he gets a boost of 30% hit points when he's equipped with a sword, 30% attack when he's equipped with a gun. Keep in mind that he can equip guns or swords. He can dual wield those just from his kit. He does not need dual wield, so that's really cool. He also gets a boost to the rate of items dropped by enemies through booty. I do not know if that's the quantity. The way it reads like it's the quantity, so you'll get more stuff, which that's pretty interesting and a different on that kind of trait. Then he's got Heave Ho, which is his last ability, his last trait. He gets an increase of 80% to attack and defense when his hit points drop below 60%. That's cool, makes him harder to kill, and he deals more damage. So very, very nice, Jake. Very nice. I like you, man. You make a good pirate. You definitely make a good pirate. Now, here's the unit that I am most interested in, which is Illusionist Nicole. And these units are all really nice. But when I read about him being able to make somebody a cover tank, I needed to know more. So, he's a support unit. Illusionist. Taking a day off from being a, I guess, strategist. That's visit. But he's got a spiffy top hat. 25 magic, 45 magic points. Enables auto refresh and auto limit. So that's pretty sick. All of these TMRs are pretty sick. So that is neat. How many? I think auto limit's only 1 crystal per turn though, because that's the skill from Cloud of Darkness. And so yes, I don't think it's only 1 per turn. So it's just like Cloud of Darkness's auto limit, just in a hat. Pretty cool. All right, so first thing we know is that he's going to be able to cast illusion skills twice in 1 turn. So what are the illusion skills? That way we know what we can dual cast. I'm glad you asked. So Illusion Doppelganger is going to give you Mirage on who it is. Illusion Terrifying Visions is going to be an attack and magic break of 45% and inflict Confuse. Interesting. Illusion Redirect. Chance to protect all allies from physical damage 100% with damage mitigation for 2 turns to 1 ally. So you can actually make an AoE cover tank with Nicole. Along with that, you're able to give the AoE cover tank Mirage. So if they have a lot of dodge to begin with, and you give them Mirage, and you make them the AoE cover tank, that can really, really help you mitigate damage on your party. That is crazy. I think that's crazy, and that's really, really nice. Illusion, Phantasmal Forces. So he can dual cast this as well. It is magic damage, 2 times multiplier with a consecutive damage increase up to 4 times to 1 enemy. So if you need him to deal focus damage, he can definitely ramp that up really, really quick. It is magic damage. It does not have an element tied to it. So since it does not have an element attached to it, it can chain with physical attacks just fine. It deals 7 hits. So that is going to be something that you can use to help boost your chain, which is really cool. Disenchant is not an illusion skill, but it is nice. It's magic damage 2 times to one enemy and removes all status effects from one enemy. So that is his Dispel. He just deals damage with it. His traits are cool. He's got absorb magic points, which means that if he's hit with a spell, he gains some magic points off of it. Illusionist Guise increases magic by 30%, spirit by 30% when he's equipped with a hat and clothed respectively. Since you're going to wear those anyways, we're going to call that a wash and say he gets it. Power of Deception increases MP, magic points, and magic by 30% again. So just from his kit, he gets 60% boost to magic. That's pretty solid. And then he's got Phantasmal Wards. Now, Phantasmal Wards, he uses that at the beginning of battle. And we still have some question marks about it. So we're going to have to see if we can get him tomorrow and figure out what it does. But it has a chance to counter physical damage taken from all allies except the caster. It's got a multiplier on it and it lasts for 3 turns. So he has a chance to counter damage from the beginning of the fight automatically. If that's the way that is, then he is extremely strong and he needs to keep Illusionist as his full-time job and not be a strategist anymore, because this version of Nicole is rude. I know season 2 gets really, really good, but this one's not playing games. He is not coming just to take candy. He's coming to bust some heads. That is crazy. That is nice. For magic, he commands ice. Well, yeah, ice, water. So he gets Blizzaga. He gets Waterga. Gets an Imperil, Osmos, Blar Bizarra, and then he gets Bar Watera as well. So he can also increase your resist for ice and water. And he gets Meteor also. I'm not really sure why you would use Meteor unless you're dual casting it, since you've got Phantasmal Forces, which could help you take down one monster much faster than what Meteor can do unless you're chaining it. But it's there, and I'm not gonna turn down Meteor. That's nice. Then you got his Limit Burst, Phantasmal Respite. So it's a regen, it's an AoE regen, an AoE refresh, and a Mirage all together. What more could you ask for? That's crazy. That is nuts. So good. When you max it out, it's got a 12 times hit point with a 14 times 1200 hit points, so 1200 hit points with a 14 times multiplier, split over 3 turns to tall allies. That's literally like the 9S pod right there. And then it also recovers 24 hit points with a 0.44 times multiplier. So not a lot of magic points, but that's still refresh. And it gives you Mirage. That's crazy. 16 crystals to cast. Illusionist Nicole, I'm so glad you took the day off. I need this. Need you in my life, man. Need you in my life. Now, last but not least, we've got Black Cat Lid. She's going to round out the first week. I just leveled her, awakened her to 6-star earlier, and leveled her up so we can see what we can do. She is closer to regular Lid than everybody else, so I'm not going to go through all the stuff. I'm just going to go through the Black Cat stuff. So Weakening Scratch, she gets that at 6-star. It's a 2.5 times multiplier, but it decreases all elemental resistance by 40% for 3 turns. So that can definitely be pretty solid. Hex Strike, now it used to have a glitch on it where it guaranteed Petrify. I don't know if that glitch is fixed. I think it is by now, but that was the hotness when the skill came out, especially when she needed to kill you in arena, because she would just petrify you and say, have a good day. And yeah, it was super annoying. She gets dual cast in her kit at 6-star, and she gets a lot of support spells at 6-star. She gets Deprotect, Deshell, Bar Thundaga, Protectga, and Shellga. So she can do a lot of support. Lucky Cat is really good trait. You get a 10% chance to evade physical damage and a 90% chance to ignore fatal damage when your hit points are above 50%. So she actually may be closer to you taking her to fight Algion because of that. That is crazy. That is really, really good. That's a Lucky Cat. Nature Protector increases her killer. So she already gets Machine Killer and Undead Killer. So now she's going to get 50% more to machines, undead, and demons. So she's going to have double damage versus machines and undead. Really, really cool. Then she gets Sturdy Cat. Gives her some defense, immunity to poison and paralyze. So, you know, she's not as amazing as if she would have started off as like a 4-star, stat-wise and everything else. But, wow. She came up. She's really nice. Very, very nice. That's probably the notable stuff about her. I think she's going to be really, really good for a 3-star unit, especially if you're starting off the game and you get her to level her up. So I'm excited. I'm excited about all of these units. These units are stout. Wow, they're stout. Let me know what you think about these units down in the comment section below, because these are crazy. Really, really crazy. You know, I can't wait to start pulling them from tomorrow. I got to go ahead, Amazon gift card vault, and get this ready. But I'm hoping for Illusionist Nicole. For everybody else will be awesome, but that's who I'm hoping for. But you know, as always, I really, you know, you take the time to come by and holler at me, and there's a lot of people reporting on Brave Exvius. I really am thankful that you come by to see what I'm doing. Throw me that like. This is probably my first official review where I got everything together. I think the only other one I did was A2, which I think needed to be done because everybody thought A2 was going to be sucky. And then when I saw all the stuff, she was just nuts. So she did turn out to be nuts. And so if you got her, congratulations. I did not get her, but that's okay. You know, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I have a new video pop up, because that'll make it easier to keep up with me. And again, ever so thankful that you came by. Shout out Drum Gang, made this very nice music for me. Really appreciate you. I have a link to his, so if you need him to make some music for you, you'll be able to hit him up. And I'm gonna leave that in the description as well. And so until next time, guys, you guys take care. God bless, and good luck on these pulls, because these are some definitely units that I think we would want to have. See ya.